Wait a minute, wham, wazzle? You're going for the dazzle. What's good, bitch? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chicanery. Episode 2. Justice for hashtag TM Straight Snark. I'm Carl. She's Whore. Bottoms, bitch ass leak! How you feeling, Whore?
Oh, I could be better, but I'm here.
We all wish we could be somewhere else. I wish I...
It's not that I don't want to be here, it's that my day has been a roller coaster.
Tell me about it.
I wish I could.
You can't? Ah, fuck. That sucks.
No, I cannot talk about my job.
Okay. Give us a taste of the emotions you felt today.
I woke up this morning feeling like something bad was gonna happen. And bad happened. I had to go to work on an emergency. Didn't get to eat. I'm dehydrated. I'm tired. But I'm surviving.
As for me, because you already saw it, if you had asked me today, hey Carl, someone's going to tell you that your wife's going to kill you in 5 years, I would have told you, maybe. But then for somebody to verbalize it, and then attempt to gaslight me? Nigga. You can't see it, chat, but I slid down in my chair all the way to my tippy toes. Ooh, that was a delight. That was a treat. Tell me about your opinions about that, because I have a whole paragraph.
All I needed to do was put up the one clip from Toy Story. You are a sad, strange little man, and I pity you. Because somebody's got to be unhappy in life to want somebody's downfall in a relationship that bad.
Like, I've had niggas pray on my downfall. I still have niggas playing my downfall. I've got niggas doing everything they can to try and stop me from growing my channel. But, chat, you need to understand this, okay? I didn't provoke this. How this started was, there is currently a meme that is going about where there's a joke gif, which then prompted a series of Wojak edits of basically a lanky guy hooking up with a slightly overweight to morbidly obese goth chick with the yerba tea default background, and then the fat, pretty black-haired female Wojak in an apartment complex, or like a dormitory system. It started out with one edit, and then people just started creating different viewpoint edits. If you look inside the Discord in Memery, I actually posted, I believe, all the ones that I found at the time from the post that I got it from and came from. I then made a separate original tweet saying, listen boys, you might not like it, but this is peak sex kitten, of the one featuring the black hair. Then somebody hit me up with the single word, Carl. And I said, bitch, I ain't finna apologize for nothing. I love the large women. They got good food and good coochie. And I thought that was the end of it. So, we then went on and we streamed earlier for 2 hours and 30 minutes to about 3 hours over the content that I had there while playing V-Rising. Man, a lot of progress in that stream. Lo and behold, afterwards, in the next 2 hours and 30-minute interim leading up to 6 o'clock and us setting up for pre-showtime air, somebody would come the fuck along and say to me, let me go back and find it, because I know I blocked the person, but I just need to go to the thing and just click through it all the way through, because it was crazy. And I made sure to take pictures of it, because I couldn't believe that he doubled down on it. Honestly, truthfully. It started from this individual coming to me and saying specifically, while I agree you're not trained and do not have the certifications required to fuck white women, you're going to be dead or in prison in the next 5 years. Upon which I just flippantly said, excuse me, you question my credentials? Me, SinglePlayerCarl, the white woman tamer, hashtag 3M straight snark? And I'm going to put it on to the camera for you, so you ain't got to take my word for it. In fact, I will give you the Twitter link of the inciting incident. I will give you the Twitter link as I put it on screen for you. You gotta see it with your own eyes. I need you to see it with your own eyes, 'cause it was crazy. Here we go. Boom, 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 right there. A little bit too size, but that's okay. We're gonna bring it all down. Boom, bop, bada boom, smaller, smaller, bang, right there. I didn't ask for this. No one told this person to do this. I didn't create this interim of the animus, okay? He just did it. Then it went from here to it went from that to me just, flippantly, because I thought it would be the end of it. It's like, haha, you counting me? Don't you know? I am him. I'm him. I am him. I am goated in the sauce. Motherfucker came back with the most deranged thing he could possibly say. And that was, mate, weren't you the bottom in that relationship? That's exactly what I'm talking about. In a few years, she's going to be starting fights and then making you fight them. Now, my wife has already gotten her words in, but I'm not going to bring my wife into this any more than she's already been forcefully put in, because he went out of his way to bring her into the shit saying that I was not in what I was. But then, past that, he then said specifically that I was going to be dead, and now he's saying that I'm the bottom in my relationship. Any of you who come to the live streams and hear how I and Star talk to each other know that we are switches. We fucks with each other. And even then, after this exchange, I then remind him, you do understand that we're married, right? This guy's reply to that was yes, and I'm saying black man, white woman divorce rates are almost double than any other interracial marriage. Interestingly, in any other interracial marriage couple is just a couple points higher than non-interracial ones. The ones that have a 50% divorce rate are white women, anything else.
Tell me you cannot get pussy without telling me you cannot get pussy.
Now listen, guys, I ain't gonna say nothing about interracial dating relationships within the dynamic of black men with anything. Because technically, I'm supposed to be predisposed to white women, goth women, Asian women, Latina women, and women who have aggressive anger management issues. Be that as it may, I don't know if I can really elaborate and elucidate how crazy it is that not only do you say to a content creator, listen bro, you're gonna die. But then to tell that content creator, no. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm actually telling you that statistically you're gonna die. That's not what that nigga said. That nigga said, you're going to die and your wife's a problem and you're an issue, SinglePlayerCarl. And this motherfucker was a follower. He supposedly follows me and said that shit with a straight face. If somebody had told me I was going to wake up and that was going to be what I had to deal with today after I cleaned out my sinuses, I would have told them, no, come on, they could be for real. But no, that man was for real. He meant that shit. Of all the cope and cap and gaslighting I've ever seen someone try to do to me in an attempt to lie to my face, that's probably the craziest so far. This week! And it's technically, depending on how you look at the weekend, 2 to 1 day still left in the goddamn week. Memories. Anywho, besides from that, chat, today I bring to you multiple topics. Starting off with, what's the first thing we have on the agenda, Horror?
There were some updates on Helldivers, were there not? We want to get into that first?
Correct. Those of you on the front for Helldivers. Concerning the updates for the shows and for the numbers, while the game is now functional and is separated from Sony's intention to destroy it, and even, if I can actually show you this, because I believe I do have this, probably have to go to the CEO's Twitter to show you this, but plies, other plies, no, I don't want Plies the Rapper, god damn it. For some reason, Plies the Rapper has the same startup name as the CEO of Helldivers, and it's really kind of hard to not look him up and get the other guy too. But Plies, the CEO of Arrowhead, actually met with the sales call for Sony, and they actually have back the numbers on how much they've done for the game. Let me see if I can go find him here. Here we go. So I'm just gonna mark that. Where's the number? Where's the number? Ah, here we go. Here's the tweet. Boop, bop, bottle, pow. Boop, bing, bang. Bop. There you go. Announced in the sales call for Sony, they have sold over 12 million units, which means a little bit of calculated quick math. That should be over 10, 20. I can't really think about the number, but let's say base 40 multiplied by 12 million. That is $4,800 million that they've made just in the base total of selling the game. So 20K under, actually no, 20 million under half of a $500 million. That's crazy. Nearly $500 million just selling the game in the 5.5 months time that it was made. Great. But you know what's not great about that? The fact that those numbers included people that were involved in the time of the gameplay. Because you got to think about this in terms of like what it's for. Helldivers is technically supposed to be the simulation of an active military, and every single unique login is a Helldiver in that player base. So, and that's just accounting for the numbers of people who are playing it in terms of the game itself proper. So if it's sold over 12 million units, and each unit is a potential player, 12 million players, depending on console and PC collectively combined, is larger than the largest active military in the world, which, as you can see here from this person's tweet, is apparently several magnitudes larger than the People's Republic of China at 2.05 million, then followed by India at 4.75 million, and then the US bringing up the rear number 3 with 1.326 million. That is a lot of people playing the game. But unfortunately, as I've told you all before in the last post, it is being worked on by the CEO in the background about them trying to do their best to get the game in the places where it matters relisted. This particularly coming from an article and from posts inside of the Discord from Fandom Wire. Bring that on the screen for you. Specifically here, Helldivers 2 getting relisted in several countries is yours one. There are still countries inside that need to be given the return and go ahead to the numbers of things. They have not relisted all the countries that are for the game. And that means that number, that 12 million player number and 500 million sales number, it could be bigger. We can make it bigger. So, let's bring people into this fictional military and try to push for them to get that relisted and get it redone. We don't know all the countries that have been relisted at this time. I would say to look at news posts of this, probably keep yourself abreast of it and post that inside of Printing Press Success inside the Discord. But also look to Pirate Software, because Thor has been on top of this issue since this situation started, and I trust both my reporting, his reporting, and other outlet reportings that are talking about it. Obviously, I do not trust Brutus Ramble's reporting on any of this, because he never actually reports the numbers. He just jumps onto situations and starts glazing it, saying, the consumers won, but doesn't actually show where the consumers are winning. This is a good thing. You should agitate for this. This was a gamer's win. This was a consumer's win. But we haven't fully won until we curb stomp it into Sony's head. You could have had more money. And all you could have done was that. Moving on from that, what else do we have on the docket?
There has been quite a bit of issue or drama around another video game as of late. It seems to continue to happen every week. It's a new one. This time, it is the new Assassin's Creed Shadows from Ubisoft. Oh, Lord, that's been interesting, to say the least.
Oh, man, I love when this happens. So, it's a great thing, chat. You gotta understand. I love modern gaming, don't you guys? Price gouging so good. Price gouging so good. And because you see
That's the main thing they should be worried about, yes, is the price gouging. When they haven't shown a single minute of gameplay.
This story is like 3 different situations all happening at once, all nestled under the browser of people dick riding and dick munching the shit out of Ubisoft. The biggest number problem here is obviously the problem of the price gouging. Why is this game in its truest frame rate, to go along with the other game that did this, of course, Infinite Wealth, why is this game not being sold in its full capacity for the supposed new standardized price of $69.99, $70? In fact, this game has multiples, and if you look at the chart here, which we'll take it into a different view, the chart, chat, is really bad when you look at it for what it is. Let's bring it to the image. Let's look at the image. So, the problem is pretty obvious when you look at the face of it. Okay? Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just look, chat. Look with your special eyes. So, you have the standard edition, $69.99. That's the base game and a pre-order bonus, right? Then you have the gold edition. That's $109, $110. Base game, pre-order bonus, season pass. Let's kill that fucking thing in the cradle. Because the season pass is nothing more than the tomatoes and the fucking lettuce of video gaming. I would like a burger. The burger is the bun, the meat, maybe some cheese, onions under the cheese, caramelized of course, smash burger style, some special sauce, make it patty melt sauce, and the bottom bun topped with the crown. If you sell me the base game, everything should be in that game. A season pass is nickel and diming me. And that's not to say the same as, well, Carl, what about expansions? Expansions are different, especially if they're single player in design. There is a difference between, hey guys, we made a base game for you, but you know, after spending some time here, there are some ideas that we had to take off the cutting room floor. We're going to make them additions. $5? $10? $5, $10 for 2,000 hours of additional gameplay. That's not fair? Nigga, for real? For 10 to 50? Okay, take it. Take my money. I'll take that, absolutely. The difference here is more than likely this season pass is going to be the same price as the game itself. More than likely. If it's at the same rate in which the industry does it, it's probably going to be something more like $20 to $30. Probably I'd say $40 at the most. So put that on top of the price tag. I mean, you're technically getting it at a discount inside the gold edition, but let's be for real. Put it at the price tag amount. If it's for a base number, 20 to 40. The game has already inflated there to close to 100 already, but we're already at 110. Base game, pre-order bonus, season pass, 3-day early access, which, outright, why the fuck am I doing this? Because let's be for real, we're not all journalists, but even if we were journalists, why am I getting the game earlier by paying for it? That's not fair as a consumer. Because now, with any game that's new, I have the advantage that other people don't have in getting coverage for the game, to making reviews for the game, to making guides for the game. It's literally a competitive advantage that should not exist in the industry as a content creator as a whole, let alone as a consumer as a whole. If one console gets the game after or before me, I'm gonna be fucking upset, period. Just at the end of the day, I'm gonna be upset, fucking period.
As I've said, this should be the main issue that's being talked about. We should not be getting AAA or above games that are made at an astronomical budget or with an astronomical budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then it be broken and unfinished, and then we're charged on top of it to get stupid crap like cosmetics or measly crap that it doesn't matter. On top of content that should already be in the game, like DLC. I could see it being justified with something like what's probably going to happen with Elden Ring's DLC, where it's almost a completely different game worth of content. That's a different story. Completely understandable. You're basically making us a brand new fucking game for us to play. Cool beans. But if it's measly content, if it's measly little updates that get me maybe 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, no bitch. I'm not paying an extra $10 to $40 for your DLC bullshit. It's not happening.
Especially if it doesn't actually add enough game time and game hours to actually justify it.
Exactly. But the other thing that people keep bringing up, and it's the race card again.
Of course.
Because where I can understand and I agree with this argument to a certain extent. They have chosen something completely different from what they've done throughout the rest of the Assassin's Creed games. In most of the Assassin's Creed games, to my knowledge, you are playing a character that is set within a specific period and time in a specific culture. And the character is meant to be that way so that it blends in with everything else. You look like everybody else, therefore you blend in. That's the point of being an assassin. What they've done here is they've deviated. I don't know why. I'm not going to claim to know why. But they've deviated and chosen a historical figure that it is debated upon what their history within Japanese culture actually is, and that is Yasuke. Everybody's probably seen the AI generated image everywhere. He is a black man, from what I understand, who was a slave.
Slave
He was
retainer.
then... Yes. Well, no, prior to that, he was a slave. And then he was taken in by Nobunaga. Everybody's heard about Nobunaga. He's in all these other games. Evil motherfucker. He's taken in by him. And I've seen it debated upon whether or not he had respect for him or whether he was a quote-unquote pet. But while he may be a character in that history, what I question is it going to work? Because you need that ability to blend in with your surroundings. And if you're a character who is so different from everything else, how are you going to blend in? Granted, if they write it well, I don't give a shit. But I'm questioning, I'm side-eyeing a little bit. It has nothing to do with race. I have no issue with there being an African-American protagonist in a Japanese set game. Don't care. That's fine. What I do care about is the game actually being good and it making sense. Can you feel me there, chat? Can you feel me there, Carl? I think I'm not wrong in saying that.
No. Because the ultimate problem is... Because chat, there's more to those prices. But we'll chill on the chat prices for now. This is more important. The ultimate problem here, because I took a picture of this, and I'm about to send it to you inside the thing, is that at the end of the day, the argument that a lot of these people are making is a very retarded argument, and I'm going to put that argument on screen for you. Because, you see, when you get down to the brass tacks of their logic, can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
When you get down to the brass tacks of their logic breaks down to something retarded like this. There's been a lot of discourse about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it occurs to me that there's a large amount of people who do not understand Assassin's Creed on a fundamental level. Not just you don't understand the game, not just you don't understand the lore, you don't understand the franchise on a fundamental level. Assassin's Creed has never been a history simulator, Cap. It's a fictional story that uses history to craft its narrative and is no stranger to bending history for that narrative. It's usually the perspectives of what would have been forgotten people in history to tell the story and to tell the real history. Modern Assassin's Creed has a lot to criticize, because it's a game made for a modern audience to reflect the world we live in. But Yasuke being a character and Ubisoft bending history to fit them into a game that has had a history of doing that since its inception is not a good critique. Here's the problem with this, okay? The concept of using history as the backdrop for which you can then insert the artistic integrity credit has to do with the idea of, listen, Leonardo da Vinci. I confuse them, you see. Leonardo da Vinci not only helping design a modified form of the Assassin's Dagger that doesn't require what was required for the first Assassin's Creed game, where you need to basically sacrifice your ring finger to have it on your hand, but also having an Apple of Eden that's a giant glowing alien artifact in his workshop. Listen, bro, you can accept aliens. You can accept a weird origin story of a fictional Adam and Eve running from a technological society. You can accept divine objects possessed by an assassin's order and the Templar Knights and the Holy Templar Order, but you can't accept a black samurai. No, I can't. He's not a black samurai to begin with. And if we were to go with the actual historical base, because it is hotly contested, but it's actually confirmed what parts they're hotly contesting. It's known that Yasuke exists. He existed. There is notes of him. There is records of him. There are pictures of him. But you need to understand, he was a slave before being made into a retainer that effectively was more like a diverse exotic pet. Oh, General, come quickly. Come look at my black slave. His name is Yosuke. Oh, why did you put him in samurai armor? It was funny. That's the equivalent of Yasuke. You want to know how Yasuke died by official accounts? Slain after Oda was slain. Why? Because he was considered to be too retarded of a human being to exist with his own autonomy, that people didn't want to look after him. Damn. What a history. What an icon. Beheaded because they thought he was too much of a fucking invalid. That's your history figure? By all means, if you want to write him to be the most assassin, Kakujin, the most Kakujin that has ever Kaku'd the Jin, by all means, please make him a shadow assassin. But at the end of the day, please do remember that people are going to be mocking the shit out of you because you have to go to an extreme example to say that they're delusional and crazy. Because it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't out, you see. It's too crazy. It's too wild. We're not being realistic when we say things like this. You're not being realistic when you guys go to these extremes for these things like this. And I find it to be embarrassing that happens like that. Because why can't you just accept that, truth is. Sure, you don't like it. You don't gotta like it. But you shouldn't lie. If you lie, it makes it worse. Should you be calling people, going back to the thread, should you be calling people racists that are completely outing themselves because they're not complaining about the accuracy of the game? They're just racist misogynists? Really? Racism and misogyny is when people shit on a $120 American video game? Granted, it's being made by French people, but gay French people. And not the good French people like me, the bad ones. Okay?
See, I will agree with their argument as I have, so as to this person's argument. I can agree with it to an extent, only because I have seen people actually throw up racist fucking memes in response to it. Mm-hmm. Totally understandable. Cool, I'm not on that side of things. Disavow all day long. But here's where my argument would come in, and this is kind of... I don't care. I'm not going to buy it. I won't play another Assassin's Creed game because Valhalla sucked so bad. But hear me out here. Origins was set in Egypt, right?
Yep.
And Egypt is in Africa, right?
Yep.
And around that time, they were interacting if I remember correctly, during the time of Origins where that was set, there was interaction with the Greeks, right?
Yup.
So what if they made the main character fucking Julius Caesar or a Greek?
It would have been different.
What would they say then?
It would have been different because, you see, the context would now be, how dare you put a conquering colonizer in this Egyptian setting? He doesn't belong here. He's white. It should be people indigenous to the region.
But shouldn't the Japanese have representation then in that? Shouldn't, because I know I have seen quite a few people that are Japanese descent and origin being a bit pissed off at this.
Mm-hmm.
Going, why? What's the reasoning for this? Doesn't make sense.
Justice for black people, basically, is the best way I can phrase it. There is a post that I retweeted. I'm going to go find it. But the argument basically stops at, I don't like that you are not giving me what I want immediately. Here it is. Assassin's Creed Liberation, which is the one I believe should have been more French-based. No controversy. Female character on the art. That's Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. On the art. Woman on the cover? No problem. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Freedom Cry has a black character in it. No problem. Everybody had no controversy. Assassin's Creed 3, the one which you remember, the main protagonist of that one, because they killed off the long-standing Miles 2 character from the entire arc of Assassin's Creed 2 all the way through. Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood and the Revelations made him Native American. No controversy. Asking for the first Assassin's Creed in Japanese main character since 2008, you're being called racist. This is very much American imperialism and Californian chicanery and nonsense. It's quite literally in the hand, in the pan. There's no arguing about it. There's no arguing around it. It is obviously dog shit argumentation. Because Yasuke, obviously, actually is not the only character in this game. There's supposed to be a female character who is supposed to be a fictional daughter. Why did I say it like that? Daughter. A fictional daughter of Oda Nobunaga. But people hyper-focused on the Yasuke part because it's so flippantly jarring to the argument and the point that you made that why is he there? Oh, look out for the assassin! They could be anywhere! It could be anyone! Pay no attention to this black man here in these lands of Asian milk and honey. While he is an exotic sight, he should be treated no differently to any other Asian countryman. By all means, he is a black gaijin, but we here in glorious Nippon will not disrespect him, for you see, we live in a time period that respects the integrity of the African American mindset, and we respect other cultures. Man, that nigga was being wild, wasn't he, Nora? Stab, 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 stab! Now, you might think that what I just did was crazy, but you need to understand that's literally the face and head of it. If we were having a video game set in 1945 Germany, and they were expecting there to be an American agent that was supposed to be infiltrating the biggest, most fortified German Nazi camp possible, and they were to do the equivalent of, "Hey Hans, look out, the American spy could be anywhere! Oh yeah, what could he look like? Hi Hitler." Hi Hitler. Excuse me, was that a Negro? Don't be ridiculous, Hans. That's racism. We might think that they are Untermensch, but we do not disrespect them. Turn to camera, because you see, we respect the American spirit and the African-American way of life, for they should not be disrespected or dehumanized. Even though we dehumanize them to get what we want, conquering colonization, what do you do? Is that a Tommy gun? Same point. Same difference. What are we doing? It makes us feel like we're taking crazy pills. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. It didn't fucking happen in any of the games prior. Why is it happening now? Current year politics. Message! And for me personally, even though I'm not going to buy it unless somebody buys it for me, Or rather, I should say, I'm not going to play it unless somebody buys the game for me as a gift, in which I would then be forced to do it for content. Why? Why can't you guys just accept that, you know what? Yeah, you guys have a point. We don't have to have a black person here. We wanted a black person here. It'd be more honest. I would respect you more. Alright, cool. You wanted to be you want to put black people in places historically where they don't belong. Okay, got it, cool. I would respect you more. The way that you go about with the arguments of calling people racists, and you're calling the people that are the genetic descendancy of Yasuke racists, is crazy. That is so crazy. It's so dumb. And to read from Fato's comment, did that black woman just jump over the wall? What do you think? What do you mean someone spanked up the daimyo? Like, what do I do here? There are so many other places. There are so many other settings that you could put characters of Assassin's Creed into. Because, of course, you can always revisit Africa at a different point in time. I mean, shit. You have interlacement of the French with the people of Dahomey. By all means, you can have a French colonizer who somehow gets involved with the Assassin's Creed Order, fighting against the black interlopers that report to the Templar Knights, that would even use the argument of the one-drop rule to try and stop a half-French black descendant, kind of like what was in The Woman King, from being involved in the economic politics of the region, so that you can have the basis of a setting for the game. It's easy. They did it in that, they can do it there, but they're probably not gonna, for the same reasons they're doing this shit here. And I think that's dumb. Really, that's my final word on it. I think it's fucking dumb. I think it's an art. Go ahead.
I don't care. I don't care if they write it fine. Whatever. It's not for me. I'm not going to play it anyways. I've heard the argument that they've put them in other games like Neo, but Neo isn't really historical fiction in the same way that Assassin's Creed is. So I don't... I see and I don't see that argument. I don't like people who have an argument of this is kind of weird being considered a racist. And I also don't like that they want to charge us out the ass for a game that's probably going to be absolute ass because Valhalla. Oh my god, the issues with Valhalla. I could barely play that game because it almost blew my PC up every time I tried to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt it's going to be any different with this one.
And ultimately, at the end of the day, even though I would say, and I'm willing to include Assassin's Creed 3 into this, although that also means I'd have to include Black Flag. Assassin's Creed 1, through the entirety of the Assassin's Creed 2 chronology, and Assassin's Creed 3,
Ezio, yeah.
and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, they are all emblematic of what Assassin's Creed should be. The game loop, the world building, the lore, the emotional ties to the characters, everything. It's supposed to be an anthology of characters inside of a world where they get the ability to go through the genetic memories of descendants of the Assassin Order, for the intention of figuring out how to find the pieces of Eden that play into the greater story of what's happening in the world. Because as you guys should know, some of you probably don't, but then again the games are old, the world of Assassin's Creed actually plays into the world of another franchise called Watch Dogs. And from there, with the tie-in being at Sturgo, you have the ability to write an overarching world narrative, where eventually, once you let go of these things, you accept it for what it is. Like Ezio Auditore, Altair, Desmond Miles, I believe the character's name is Desmond Miles himself, and whoever else is the person sitting in the Animus chair and is the character whose memories are being remembered in order to go through with the true golden ending of the game. The game loop, ultimately, at the end of the day, for those of you who remember that particular part of Assassin's Creed 2's majority storyline endings, you have to explore what is effectively an open world map. Find a vestige point, fill out the map, do the objectives around the area, complete content. For a single player game, not that big of a deal, not that big of an ask. You eventually will get all of the time and all of the effort you need out of it. But I remember this painfully, especially for Assassin's Creed Revelations and Brotherhood. You can't get the correct final ending of the game unless you correct every single upgrade. Which means you are going to be nickel and dimed with a collectathon. That's not fun for most people. For me, personally, I don't mind it, but it would be a slog. Filling out each part of the map, finding every single objective. If it's a really stupid minigame, having to do a really bad minigame that I may like or dislike. And then the fact that if I don't complete the game, and I paid that giant of a fucking price, I'm gonna just be like, bro, why the fuck did I buy this? For $120, I could have bought 10 different shit, actually, no, more than 10. I could have bought 25 to 10 different micro games. Or smaller loop-styled roguelike games. Or roguelike deck builders. Or 10 really good indie titles. Or 5 really good expected AA and AAA industry titles that will go for less than $70. Any amount of money in any computation matter, because the maximized number of this total, put it back on screen for you guys, the maximized number for this total that I showed you for the prices of the game, that number there, the $17.99 a month, I actually did the math on that. If you were to just round that up to $18 a month for that day one Ubisoft, another example of why early access is bullshit and is just a marketing gimmick to get you to blink, to close your eyes and say, listen, it's worth it, it's worth it. Especially with an ultimate pack or early access bonus. That's $216. For a single, technically $216, not just for the privilege of the game, but then tying yourself to Ubisoft's proprietary market share and marketplace. $216 for a single game. And that doesn't have any physical material. It's not like Fallout 76 and their promotional shit. You getting a backpack or a Nuka-Cola thing or whatever the fuck. You're paying for the privilege in this situation to buy a game that, remember, for Ubisoft, if you stop using your account long enough, they delete your fucking library. You want to piss $216 down the drain? You might as well just pick up goddamn Fallout, you might as well, actually no, you might as well pick up Fallout 76. But I would probably tell you to spend your money wisely and just put it into a subscription-based game. Put it into OSRS. Put it into RuneScape 3. Hell, put it into fucking Final Fantasy 14. Put it into getting the quality of life stash tabs in Path of Exile. That's a free-to-play game, but you'll spend like maybe less than $40 securing what you would need for quality of life to the standard I would suggest you do to get the most enjoyment out of the game. It would be better spent on anything. Groceries, utilities, bills. It
would be better used on anything else, but...
We digress.
Let's bring it in.
We digress.
Let's bring it in. We have other things we got to talk about today that require a little bit more time.
True.
Since we've covered everything that has to do with video games, really, that's of note at the moment, let's get into the drama shit, yeah? Let's get into the cesspool, as some people would call it. And the first big thing that kind of came across our plates that was a little out there was the VTuber drama for a guy called Shizzy?
Yes, Visex.
What exactly is the backstory on this guy? Because you know more about it than I do, and I know Baku was the other guy that knew more about it, but he's unfortunately probably not going to make it tonight, everybody. Sorry about that.
Late or indisposed.
So it's just us.
Yes. Let me go back to my threads and pull up my threads, because I'm pretty sure my 3-part breakdown actually gives us all the information we particularly need about this individual, as well as anything else that could be fucking said. Visex, short name Shizzy, is a VTuber. This VTuber got themselves into trouble by sharing a face dox that had been made of another person, and then being unaccountable for their behavior across the internet, and the reactions they had with the addressment that they were given by people telling him, hey yo, you being really wild right now. Maybe you should not be really wild right now. Maybe you should contain yourself, Negro. And instead decided to play the race card, obviously, and say, hey, you can't tell me what to do. I'm a black man. You can't tell me what to do. I am someone you can't address. You need to have melanin as dark as mine and my skin tone to be able to talk to me. And as you can see here, this person being a VTuber model, that is the image of their current model that they use. It is a fucking graphical fucking mess. I started learning about this from my mutual's post. This is Brick, for those of you who don't know Brick. Brick is a niche internet micro-celebrity just like myself and Poe and others as well. I learned about this literally in the order of tweets in which I'm about to show you. I don't know anything about this VTuber drama, but this has to be the ugliest character I've ever seen in my life. Horrifying. When it switches the color, oh lord in heaven, what the fuck is this? Why would you choose to represent yourself this way? Nobody told Shizzy that he needed to make his profile picture like this. Nobody told him that he needed to make his avatar like this. That's just what he appears like. It then moves from there to Carl's reaction. Let's watch. You know, maybe African Americans were a mistake. That, of course, is obviously not only a really great audio, but a joke. The joke, of course, being, wow, that's really shameful. This guy should really be ashamed of himself. That's crazy. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you make that argument? Now, the problem here should be obvious, which is, so the same thing here. I guess the black community just started to stay the butt of VTuber jokes in bottom tier. Because when I see Kenji get doxxed, it wasn't a big outrage like I've seen this. He edited the video part of the girl that he's now y'all saying he's a pedophile. He proved y'all again. Now it's rage bait. I didn't say anything about that. That was never the point of what I noticed. I noticed one thing and one thing only, and I addressed that one thing and one thing only. And that thing that I noticed was, wow, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty cringe. That's a weird take that he had. Man, that's a really bad take. Why would he have that take? That's a crazy take for you to have, bro. Bro, why would you behave like that? That is obnoxious. But that then led to me looking at his behavior from the video, which this was literally the only interaction I had with him, which is this particular tweet in question. And that question from his behavior was pretty much, in order of this happening, he was being smug, and then he eventually apologized. This is before he apologized and then started doubling down again. Because, you know, niggas playing the race card on the internet can only go one way. And unfortunately, once he got his flowers and then started going on his pity party parade, he then went back to being smug. This then led Carl, in the past, to say this. I mean, like, besides the obvious, which people are apparently counting you to, I don't give a shit about the VTuber shit usually, but this is a very interesting segue. Besides apologizing for the fake doxing of an active talent, misrepresenting another VTuber's doxing, using and in many cases misrepresenting the actions of individuals to prescribe a trait being racist in our group as a whole, and the Zoomer style editing, I believe you owe the entire black community a fucking apology. Nigga, look at how you represent yourself. Look with your special eyes. Look with your special eyes at how you represent yourself. Most people, if they have heard about you and seen about you here for the first time, they're learning about this shit for you doing what? Which, hilariously enough, apologize for what? I mean, yo, bitch ass apologized already, so what the fuck you mean? But this is how you choose to represent yourself as a VTuber model. This is not a judgment about the colors or the aesthetic, it's a judgment about the sheer overall image. You are currently going viral for the stupid shit you got involved in, and this is what you look like that most people are gonna see. Do you consider that this may help or hinder people seeing your side? Do you think this will help or hinder the conversation and the structure and flow of it as a whole? Y'all niggas are cooked. Y'all niggas are cooked. And there were plenty of people who were upset for me for saying that, because that's pretty fucking sensible. That's a pretty even-handed take. I didn't say anything rude, I didn't say anything mean, I didn't communicate poorly in any fucking way, and that led to that nigga blocking me. Me saying, hey yo, maybe you shouldn't be saying this is a community issue, maybe you should just represent yourself and take for accountability that this is a you issue, and go from there. That was too much. How dare you, Carl? holding people accountable for their actions as individuals. What are you, a Nazi? We're collectivists out here. Which, of course, then led to, obviously, my third final take about it, and a bunch of people getting mad at me, then telling me that I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about, despite having the actual thing there in my reply to him. Which then led to this, from this particular user, telling me that actually, if I cared, we'll look at it directly, if I cared about my, this being said to somebody else, I'm not taking the former seriously, specifically because that would be feeding the trolls, and that's bad for my mental health, so I kept pushing, not to mention I'm talking about the stuff Visek showed, which is just people trying to bait him. No, my guy, this is not just edgy trolls. They're going super deep into their thoughts everywhere about blacks. This is how they really feel. That's not, we can't prove that to be true, and that's not even worth getting into, because this particular individual is one of the biggest nut glazers out there, amongst the many who literally just went about to other people telling them, you don't know what you're talking about. This is how they see you, how they use you as one of the good ones to fuel their tirade. If you cared about your mental health, you wouldn't have commented in the first place, but you served your purpose. You wanted a black face to fuel and justify their rhetoric, and now black VTubers and characters will be forever targeted with racism in these spaces. Which then, of course, led Carl to give this a pick. You know, I'm going to go ahead and start off with, I'm not going to let you use my voice to justify your delusion. Let's start there. Secondly, if you cared about your mental health, you'd learn to stop using all of this bullshit to justify your grand delusions about how you think that you're a part of a big thing that you're not really a part of. It's not that big, it's not that serious, you're not that important. And more importantly, the argument of he is the black face to fuel and justify the rhetoric, and now black VTubers and characters will be forever targeted with racism here in these spaces. No. Just this nigga. We don't, no. I'm not a collectivist. I don't believe in collectivism bullshit. Just this nigga. That nigga right there, that guy, for their actions, their behavior, their assertion, their representation, how they represented themselves, how they carried themselves on, that nigga, by themselves, alone. That's how it's supposed to work, by the way. You niggas are so cut on collectivist arguments that you easily make yourself debased and easily manipulated for anyone who wants to use you. Because you think that groupthink is the way, and it's not. Delusional shit. Delusional shit. Anyways. Any fucking ways. Be that as it may. From the people involved. Except that you guys are embarrassing not because collectivist guilt, but because the way that niggas like you act and the way that niggas like this act are why that happens. Think about that shit. And the next time you decide to think that you're going to speak on behalf of other people, don't. Just don't. You don't know what I'm thinking. You don't know what I judge people for. Despite the fact that I told you what I judged you before, you're gonna take this and then be like, you see, this is what I need. Look at niggas like, I don't know what to tell y'all niggas. Like, I got a wife, I got a kid, I got friends, I have an audience, I have family. I don't, like, you niggas, do you have anything useful? Do you have any joy that you have in your life from anything else other than spurting at random people on Twitter? Because it seems like y'all niggas don't. And on that level, y'all niggas are cooked. On that, middle up, there we go. On the Soul Chat, I don't think past Carl said anything fucking wrong. Do you think I said anything fucking wrong, or?
No.
Like, it's as simple as that. Like, why is it that... Why am I not allowed to, like, reject something by saying, like, hey, your argument's really bad, your approach is really poor, the way that you carried yourself made it really hard to follow your arguments, it made it really hard to get behind what you're saying, because while your words say one thing, your actions say another, and then your reaction to other people's actions say another, and then the people going out on your behalf that act on your behalf, whether you told them to or not, is really fucking annoying, really cringy, really embarrassing, or whatever it may have. It does not lead to the basis of a good movement if what you want me to do is to help you speak out against the racism, which itself is a split issue that I have opinions about, but we're going to stay on point here. To quote Bloodia, because he's also a VTuber, so either we, me, you, him, and other people noticing this shit as the audience for this argument, we have to just agree with individuals like Shizzy and individuals like his fucking dick riders, or we just stay silent when we see fuckery? No. Why should I remain silent because they want me to give them my voice. Bitch, I disavow you. I'm taking my energy from your spirit ball. You're not taking my energy from your racism spirit ball. Fuck you. That's not happening. Because that's how you get problems. If you left it as a, listen, these people are just bad for business. These guys are bad audience members. They're bad for, quote, and I really wouldn't use this argument, but if you were to be this guy, this would be apt, our community of VTubers and our fans, I think this is a problem that we should all be able to come collectively together on and say, hey, yo, y'all can hate us, you can like us, you can ignore us, but can you at least hate me for me? As the GOAT, Kane once said, hate me, Raziel. Hate me, but hate me honestly. I would rather you call me a coon than you say, Carl, you uproot and are a useful tool to idiots that will justify you as one of the good ones so they can continue to harass individuals like Shizzy. You don't realize that you were just a tool for bigotry. I don't believe that. That's not real. You're lying to me. You don't know what a racist is. Because if you knew what a racist was, you'd realize you're being one. And for them to fight so hard to act like they are right when they are obviously wrong makes me throw my hands up and say, you know what? That's fine. You're by yourself. But of course, that's not where that particular story ended. I don't even know where I can find that Dick Ryder. But let me see if I can. I probably can find one of them, and you know which one I'm talking about. Yes, right here. That's not where it ended for people like me. No. What we then got was a person that would then come to us and do this shit. You remember this, horror. Somebody comes along, chat, and says to us, see, Carl, you're so smug, Carl. You didn't watch his video. No, I didn't. See, why should I even listen to your argument? You don't really care about what's happening. Well, you see, I didn't have to watch this video in order for me to have an opinion. But if you want to be a stickler about it, show me the video. But you didn't watch the video, Carl! Why should I even get you, Carl? Show me the video. No, Carl, you didn't already watch the video, which means I don't have to listen to what you have to say, which means you're automatically wrong. Okay, so can you lay out your argument for me? But I shouldn't lay out anything to you. Why should I even give you the time of day? You didn't watch the video. I am asking you to provide me the video because this user blocked everyone. And so I cannot go to where the video is in order to watch it so that I can, quote, be informed and comment on it. Please give me the video. This, of course, is sampled by the Patrick and Man Ray meme. It is probably the most nut-glazing I've seen for social retardation this month yet. And they do it without realizing, or if they do it with realizing, they do it with the intention of making sure people can never be against their argument. Both myself and Horror reacted to it at this point, because at this point, we completely wanted to wash our hands of it. Okay, you don't want us to tell you shit? You believe you know everything? No problem, Mr. Man. Fight on your own. But it didn't end there. See, this individual, this particular user in question, went out of their way to block Horror while trying to continue to address me, but by addressing me in a concern-trolling way. Effectively saying, excuse me, white woman, I didn't ask you shit. I'm castigating the black user. Black user, why aren't you being a collectivist? And at that point, I'm completely like, no, fuck you, fuck him, fuck the horse you rode in on, fuck the dick that you sucking, and make sure you ride that dizzy to success, cause you gonna get covered in the nut since you wanna be a useful fucking idiot who wants to bend over for literally anybody else who wants to put your back to bending. Why would I care about this VTuber at this point? If his audience is so toxic to the point that they're gonna go to another content creator and tell them, no, your opinion doesn't matter because you didn't watch the video. Fuck you, I'm not watching the video. If you can't, in good faith, tell me what your argument is, I don't care anymore. I will ignore you and I will ignore him. Congratulations. Now, not only will I be a person who says, well, I don't have an opinion of the guy, but it looks like he was going through it. I now have the opinion of, oh no, fuck that guy. I want the worst things for him. I'm praying on his downfall. I will say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way you walk, the way you talk. I hate the way your V2 dressed. I hate the way you speak this. You want to talk shit to me? You be direct. I will pull that card at this point. Because the way you're behaving, despite the fact I didn't interact with him personally, but what I did interact with was just literally giving a piece of criticism of how he looked like he was behaving to me. And that led to a block. And then his fan behaves this way to me. Based on the follow-through of what their God King, because they're holding it up like one, did. This person refuses criticism, and his audience are willing to harass other people for the information that they are now denied from receiving because they didn't let a little soldier boy take their words and use them as a weapon. If that's how this person behaves, I cannot wait to see this person lose their career. I don't often say things like that. Certainly not on air. And I don't like castigating that as a feeling to have, because then people assume that I'm a hateful person. But by all means, I want a motherfucker to fail. I want him to fail so he understands why people don't like him. I want him to see it. I want him to see it with his eyes, with his special heart and shaped colored star eyes. I want him to feel it in his soul so that he knows, oh shit, I really am cooked. Because no one's going to stand with him. All the people who are probably attacking us on his behalf, they don't actually really care about him. They don't even really care about the argument. They're just talking noise. So, when it all dies down, and there's no drama for him to write off of, he's going to be alone by himself, because his ex came out against him, some of his fans came out against him, multiple other content creators, both on facecam models and VTubers, and NVTubers as we call them, V-tweeters. They don't really stream, they just tweet incessantly about political issues. They're going to abandon him. No one's going to be on his side, because you can't be on the side of an argument of somebody who acts like this. He will be alone. And he'll have no one to blame but himself. And honestly, good. 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 What's your opinion?
I don't have anything different from yours. I haven't been paying much attention to this one either, so I don't have a whole lot of really insightful knowledge on it or opinions. It's the same shit with the previous topic we had. I don't like the blatant race card being used as a shield. Mm-hmm. It's bullshit. Because it makes us. And with that, since I think we've pretty much wrapped this one up and talked about how much, got as much as we can out of it. Mm-hmm. We have one last thing that is the main event of the show, and that is the Keffals drama. I'm going to preface this one with a tweet that I sent to Carl in DMs and Halls of Chicanery if you want to pull that one up. And I want to preface this one by saying that, and this is my public tweet on it, I'm very well aware of who else is involved in this, and I'm not really going to go on it further than what is in this picture. In this picture, you are seeing a tier list of female associates with Tipster and their level of, they called them goth mommies because he had a joke where all of his close female friends were called goth mommies. You'll see me up in the A tier, at the top of the A tier. I used to be very close friends with him. I haven't been in quite a while. I haven't been since June 17th of last year. So it says, just for accuracy, won't get into it outside of me walking away after the Bowblacks incident, meaning where he turned his back on Bowblacks for Keffals. Everything that has happened is all in him. He's grown. I have absolutely no reason to defend or condone his actions since I went my own way. I have nothing more to add other than this and the tier list with me crossed off. Initially, that had me still on there without the cross off on there. Everybody who's crossed off is everybody who has turned on him. Minus one more that's at the top who also has turned on him as of the last few days. I haven't spoken really ill of him outside of everything that people already know, but I am no longer part of that group of people. I haven't been in a while. Deuces, ooses. He's hoisted himself by his own petard with this entire situation, the way he's acted. I tried for a very long time to keep him from doing it, but he did it anyways. So, this is what you and your friend is gonna get. You're gonna get dogpiled. You're gonna get shit-talked. And the really big blow-up that happened as of recently was Mutahar, aka Some Ordinary Gamers, posting a very extensive, almost 2-hour video on Keffals. Just a few days ago. Basically outlining every single drama that is around her and her ilk. It went very badly. If everybody is not aware, and I'm sure you all are, because I know for a fact Carl's talked about it before, there are countless videos and tweets and A-logs, threads of this. But Keffals has been asked for the last 2.5 years where that $100,000 of money has gone to. And the reason why I preface the way I did is I'm not gonna go deep on Tipster, because I of my own moral character, and I keep my promises. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go full fucking seam on Keffals. Oh lord, I have absolutely no love for that woman. Terrible representation of the trans community, whom I do support. We now know that they have utilized the $100,000 for means that was not in their GoFundMe. And that is what Mutahar basically detailed. And since then, there's been a shitstorm, which includes the hashtag Justice for Worm. If you are not aware of who Just a Worm is the creator of the art on Mutahar's thumbnail. He was paid to make that art by Mutahar for that thumbnail. He draws everybody in that style. Male, female, cisgender, transgender, doesn't matter. All of them are drawn like greasy messes. It's what he does. And since Keffals and her ilk cannot defend themselves and cannot rebuke anything that's in this video, they have set to attacking the thumbnail artist because apparently that image there is transphobic. Apparently, their thing for that is the creases at the side of the mouth are facial hair. Really? Really? Are you sure about that? That has become such a problem. See, those are other people that he's done. He's done Keemstar, he's done Mutahar, he's done Nicholas Diorio, he's done Sniper Wolf, he's done Anissa, iDubbbz' fucking wife. He's done multiple people like this, and the only time he's gotten this much pushback is because of this particular thumbnail. To the point, he is no longer on Twitter. He was being flagged so badly by that community, the Keffals and her community, being called transphobic, being called racist, being called every ist and ism in the book, to where he privated his account initially, and then he deactivated. His account is gone. All of his art is gone. All of his connections are gone. Because they brigaded and harassed him so fucking hard over that.
The biggest sin here, obviously, as I'm demonstrating for you, this one is the thumbnail of the Now recording, which we watched yesterday for me to be able to get the context for how the discussion had with Brianna Wu and these other content creators went over from the fallout from his video and what was revealed by it, which, for people's context, you need to understand that Mutahar is a latecomer to this. He did not do, quote, research. What he did is that he resummarized this information in a way upon which to remove the bad actors that could be used as the excuse factors to justify ignoring it. Because the insight of this came first from Kiwi Farms. All of this, of course, goes back to the farms, but you don't need the farms to do this because this is information that has been crowdsourced that reveals that Keffals, Clara Salenti, was lying. You don't need to dead name them. You don't need to call them the dreaded T word. And the dreaded T word I'm talking about is the one that is supposed to be a shortening of the phrase trans goon, which I will not repeat on this broadcast. You don't need to call them an abuser or a crybaby victim. You can come to the conclusions upon Keffels' behavior for the last year and a half, technically 2 years and a half is the proper timeline we should go with. You don't need to use Kiwi Farms for this. You don't need to use the Destiny Manifesto, which then added even more information and the direct result of what happens when Keffels realizes that they are being perceived. Many of you know of this phrase, and you can probably commit this to heart. I'll probably put it on a t-shirt for merchandise. These people are not afraid of being known. They're afraid of being perceived. And these people, bracket, 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 open, close, bracket, 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 these people are attention-seeking clout goblins. You don't need Kiwi Farms to make these points. You don't need Destiny's Manifesto to make these points. You don't even need Murderhar's video to make these points. It can just use these thumbnails. I only need to have, well, these examples and images. This is not a thumbnail. This is more the collection of the faces to demonstrate the point on why this argument doesn't fucking work. You just need this and this alone to demonstrate the point. If Keffels is rejecting the video and the content of which based on the thumbnail, but we can see that this has been done to other people in the past, what is the more likely argument, chat? Is it that, oh my god, I can't believe that they're so transphobic and so petty that they would just emasculate her like this? Or, hey, wait a minute, didn't he make this about Vosh? Yeah, he did. Did he make another one about other content? Yeah, he did. In fact, the who's up here. Wait a minute, you were treated equally like everybody else and your bitch ass is crying? Why are you crying? Huh, that's weird. If you're complaining about the thumbnail, you must not have any arguments about what's in the video. Huh! That must mean the content of the video must be true. Huh! Wait a minute. If the content of the video is true, and we already knew about this shit 2.5 years ago because of Kiwi Farms and Destiny, oh my god, that bitch was lying the whole time! Wait a minute! I gave her money. Did you give her money? I gave her money too, bro. What happened to our money, bro? How much money did she get? Over $100,000. Where the fuck did that money go? And therefore, the quest of hashtag justice for Worm is the quest for what exactly happened to the $100,000 plus funds handed to you. And unfortunately, chat, the truth of it is, what this lovely young woman did with the money, right up the nose. Not even joking. Up the nose. And then funding for housing, and then funding to move away from the ex, and then lying about all of this. Technically, omission. Technically lying by omission.
It's really all the money went to drugs, rehab, travel that she didn't need, going to events she didn't need to go to, new streaming equipment, including IRL streaming equipment, where she could basically gas up the Kiwi farmers to try and get them to swat her and get her in trouble for clout so she could go after them again and get taken down, which she didn't do successfully. Also, a year's worth of rent at a high-rise apartment. A high-end apartment in, I believe she's back in Canada. Mm-hmm. And decking that out like a professional streamer setup. That's where all the money went. There is also fucking screenshots of DMs of her basically admitting to the shit that we were accusing her of doing. 2 months, she already blew through that fucking $100,000. 2 months. 2 months. And she even said in those DMs, if people found out about this, I'd be fucked. Guess what, bitch? You're fucked. To the point where even Brianna Wu, famous for Gamergate, is now disavowing her publicly on Twitter, literally saying, I agree with you. Here are a couple of tweets that are in regards to that. Last night, I did a panel with Keemstar, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Nicholas Diorio. I showed up to talk about trans healthcare policy for minors, but Keffels became the primary focus. I was trying to give a nuanced view, but I realized I came off as defending actions I have no interest in defending. I woke up this morning and have clarity. I have given her the benefit of the doubt at every single turn. I've tried to be the best friend to her that I can because I've also struggled with rehab, extreme death threats, and mental health issues from online harassment. But like she does with everyone else, the friendship is a one-way street. It's stupid to put any credibility on the line for someone literally planning to betray me in backchannel. She's getting more than enough heat right now, and I'm not going to add to it, but I'm done with this. Destiny was 100% right about her. Fuck Keffels. And if you're not aware of what she's talking about, apparently Keffels and her ilk have been trying to go after and shut down Brianna Wu, somebody who had been propping her up and been her friend, for not agreeing with her take on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
For comparison, consider her the Shizzy of the situation, and her the Carl of that situation. Because you didn't glaze me. You didn't. What word will I use? I'll use the fun one. You didn't glaze my Princess Juan, Brianna. Don't worry. I'll make sure you get the business end of this scepter now. But for real, that's what she fucking did. Chat, and I also went to the video and I got the screen cap of the actual DMs in question. Don't take our word for it, chat! Right there! I'm gonna put it right there in front of you! Right there. Don't worry about giving me extra rope. I got the noose in my hand already!
Quote, if anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. Lol.
And then above that, I can't come into time to think about how I deplete so fast. It's just so many little things. I keep replacing furniture and helping my friends out, now buying new streaming gear, thus confirming that the money was indeed not spent on the lawsuit.
And here's a second tweet from Brianna in response to Keemstar, who says, thanks for being reasonable on the situation. She replies, I really heard you last night about the importance of policing our own community. I think you're correct in that we failed, and I'm going to try to take more of a leadership role on that. Listening back, I thought your comments were really fair, and I wish I could have heard them more in the moment. Keffels, you fucked. But it's not just Brianna that's fucked her. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's the Young Turks. The Young Turks and Anna Kasparian have officially stomped her shit in and disavowed her. Everyone's turning on you. You have outed yourself as the lying snake that you are. And anybody who backs you up at this point is going to go down right with you. I tried. I and many people tried to warn Tipster about this, but guess what? He's right in that same boat. Sorry, not sorry. You're gonna have problems because I know it's gonna come back to bite you. It already has. It'll bite you more. It'll bite you deeper. And maybe, just maybe, you'll take the advice of everybody else online and you'll get off the internet. Both of you. Because this ain't it. It ain't, Chief. This ain't it, Chief.
To summarize the opinion that I gave the other day from the broadcast, which I'll go looking for links of, specifically the exact timestamp moment. The problem, as was described, and should be now obvious and crystal clear for everybody here listening to the sound of our voices, is it's not just the lying, it's not just the deception, it's not just the ingratiation, and then the betrayal and the weaponization of voices, situations, opinions, public deceit of opinions, public swage of opinions and actions and sentiments that they have against websites, creators, users, the entirety, whole of the internet, the digital sea, as you can see as a part of the graphic here, the entire digital sea moved to swallow Keffals and everyone protecting her from the crimes of her actions whole, and said, no, she don't want to be saved, don't save her. And at the end of the day, and this goes doubly for Tipster, because his desire to protect Keffals, while an admirable trait of a, quote, friend, is misguided, because it will never be returned in any capacity that he expects it to be. The ultimate problem at the end of the day is that no matter how you spin it, how you fleur it, or how you shake it, you have to accept that the consequences of this, everything to do with it, comes down to what Carl said on the screen, which is, it was 3 particular things plus the 4th thing, as I put it up on screen for you right here. You just gotta take this cap of the shit real quick. And then this. And then get this. And now click this. And then put this here. On my stream, I had to break down in notepad form the point that I was making about the issue. The problem here is 4 things whole. 1. Give me money. I give you content and clout. 2. I'm not just doing these things. I'm not just fighting a battle for myself. I'm doing it for you, Internet. I gotta fight the big bad Kiwi Farms. I gotta fight the big bad Destiny. I deplatformed him from Twitch because he is a hateful, misogynistic monster that hates trans women and trans men and trans people. And I do the same thing to Kiwi Farms, even though I did stolen trans valor from another user that was trying to deplatform the website and then expose them to unfair DDoS attacks. It is also the abuse of the power, the abuse of the money, the abuse of the people who use the position to dissuade other people, poisoning the well and making it so that nobody can have a clear conversation, and the imbalance of that weaponization of the Princess Scepter in question, and then being a clout goblin and a size queen that would use her power and her position and her growth to say, oh, SinglePlayerCarl, horror hellfire? Fuck them! Look how small they are, they're so puny, they have nothing to say about me. All of those factors together. That's why they don't deserve to be content creators. It's why Tipster needs to get off the internet. Because he keeps putting himself, and is somehow, through his fault and the fault of the people he surrounds him with, constantly having to defend the actions of people he's associated with that he decides to run defense for. And Keffals herself? This happens to anybody. Just like it happened to Blair Vaughn, Illuminati, just as it's happening to Hamas Piker, and just as it happened before to Thou Shu and his lolly folder. Hypocrite, liar, deceivers. You want these people to use you, your money, and your support of them to continue the harassment and the abuse? To continue the lies and the theft? No, they do not need to be content creators anymore. They need to go away. In Keffals' case, permanently. In Tipster's case, he can't handle his internet drama. We gotta cut him off at the source. Get him off the internet. He can't, it don't matter where he goes, but he can't stay here. He clearly cannot be a part of the drama community. He clearly cannot do drama coverage. He can't even do notes, nigga. You can't even be a reporter about the drama. Because you keep inserting yourself into it in such a way where you can't handle your shit. And then, when people address you respectfully, you decide to disrespectfully tell them they don't know what they're talking about. And if they were to come at you wild, you would use them as a scepter and a rod to castigate everybody else. And Keffals deciding to use the victim status to say, I'm using myself as a lightning rod to bring attention to the harassment I'm receiving. There was no harassment of you outside of people criticizing you. And while there are people that hate you, there is a lot more people that dislike you for the fact that the people you claim were attacking you wasn't even Kiwi Farms. It was DocSpin. The website people keep calling Website Zero. It's called DocSpin. It is an unironic black hat, as we would call it in the professional term in the industry, a black hat hacker formulate a website where they don't just, if you, and I said this on the stream as well, and I'm summarizing, I can already hear horror in my head. If doing the research that we've done here to bring all the information and news sources and notes to give you the context, chat, if you were to stimulate that as social media stalking, these people would do illegal search and seizure, falsification of documents and details, to then obtain the credentials, to then look for your personal information, to the level that if they wanted to, they could turn your power off in your house. By saying, yes, I am, yes, Keffels, I am she, yes, turn off my power for the entirety of the year, and never turn it back on unless I give you the say-so. They have the ability to fuck with your life in a way that Kiwi Farms would never desire to, and doesn't want to. They just want to make fun of you for the shit that you do, and maybe call you the dreaded T-word I won't say. These people, unironically, life ruination, and probably would lead to you getting swatted and hurt. But Keffels decided to lie about all of it, including the people that were attacking her. So when she said she would use herself as a lightning rod, basically, no, I'm not going to actually talk about the assassin who's attacking me, who has me in the scope right now. No. I'm going to talk about the 100 people who are saying mean words to me. Doxers, abusers, harassers. I need money so I can snort drugs to cope with my bad decisions. Dempster, help me! Please! Please, vinegar! Polish my way! For those reasons, they can't be content creators anymore. Persona non grata. Every time they're mentioned, people need to be reminded what they did. They need to be shown that, no, this is true. We didn't make this shit up. This is real. It happened. It's right here. Take it. Don't take my word for it. Research for yourself. Learn the cursed truth. And then they need to be mocked. Don't disrespect them. Don't call them out of their name. Don't call them slurs. But do say, you're dumb, you're a liar, you tricked people, you don't deserve a platform. And then don't platform them. In terms of, like, growing their career. Don't bring them into your shows. Talk shit about them and make sure you show what they did, but don't platform them. That's what has to be done here. That's my opinion. But it's both my professional and personal opinion. I don't believe people like this should ever be involved in content creation ever. Because they're not content creators. They're context creators. And in terms of creating context, what do you make? You harass people for clout. Literally, I will ratio the world and use that to then get myself into bigger platforms. I'll be a good boy to the left. In this case, good girl. I'll be a good girl to the left. I'll glaze Vosh. I'll glaze Shark03. I'll glaze Demon Mama. I'll glaze the far left. I'll glaze deconstructivist, anarcho-capitalist, Antifa. I'll glaze anybody who hates the people I hate. Just as long as you give me money. I need money, guys. I need money. I'm also going to trans your kids. I'm going to pink pill your kids. I'm also going to lie about pink pilling your kids. I'm going to bring them into a secret Discord server. Not the actual Catboy ranch that they claim that they're in. The actual real one, where the majority of some of these DMs are coming from. I'll trans your kids, and then I'll lie about it to your face. And I'll say that you're delusional for thinking that I'm doing that to your kids. And then I'll keep glazing it. And then after I get caught, I'll hide my hands and lie about it. What do you make if you think you're a content creator? In my opinion, nothing. Ironically enough, despite the fact that Brianna Wu has me blocked, but that's only because I criticized them before this take. So at some point in the future, if I get the chance to speak to Brianna Wu, I'm going to ask her if she would be willing in good faith to unblock me for obvious reasons, especially for journalistic reasons. You don't make things. Brianna Wu makes things. She at least is willing to put her money where her mouth is and make a super PAC. 2 of them, even. So, as an influencer, what do? Your influence is that you trick people into doing a catastrophic manipulation and mangling of their body, and you get people to give you money so that you can do drugs. Yeah, you don't deserve to be a content creator. I'm super good with you losing your career, just like Shizzy. Absolutely. 100%. 10,000%. 100%. 10,000%. Become a better person and change your life. I think that's really all we can really say about that, honestly, at the end of the day. I'm appalled by the things that I thought I knew everything I could about the situation. But no! It was worse than I thought! And to think if the internet were to have, if Keffels were to have her way with the internet, if she had gotten you guys to basically say, no, ignore what's in the video. He made me look like this. When this is how everybody else was treated, and this is the equality that they were given, when they're given the fair equal treatment, when they're given the equality, when they're given the right to be included, their opinion is, no, they're mistreating me poorly. Harass them and remove their platform so I can continue abusing people and you never find out about it. Get them going. Get them away. Take them to the stand. Executioner, take their head and then their balls. What's your opinion? Horror.
I said I don't disagree.
Okay, I didn't hear you at first.
Yeah.
It's a fucked situation, chat. Very rarely do we ever see such perfect destruction of a person's career. But we got this, basically, this is the 9/11 of trans content creators. And I say that because even though everybody would say, yeah, absolutely, Keffels was a horrible person and they deserve it. You know what the worst part about it is? Just like with Shizzy, there will be people who will say, no, you guys just hated her because she was writing trans. No, you didn't treat her equally. You just treated her because you hate trans people. We'll never escape it. And the only way that you can deal with a person like this and those who act like that on their behalf is you have to treat them like their children. Because they are emotionally and mentally children. You have to be an emotional and mental and professional victim and child if you think that she's being treated unfairly for what they've done, considering the severity and the gravitas that it comes with. Whether it was 100,000, 100 million, 100 Googleplex, or literally 10 cents. I want to know where all of my 10 cents went if I donated money to you. And you're telling me my 10 cents of the $2 for me to give, like, you're telling me out of the $2 of my 2 cents, you spent the whole 2 and the 198 on drugs? Oh no, I'm gonna give my 2 cents and you're gonna hear me when I speak. Absolutely, this is a fucking farce. YouTube should have deleted her channel for this. But the universe is not fair, so we have to do the universe's job. Will be justice on this. And only in this way will the digital sea of the ocean come up and swallow both Tipster and Keffels. And hopefully we'll never have to do this again. And if anybody says, was it justified? We can just show them things like my broadcast here. Or the things that were done here and say, yes. Yes, it was. Absolutely. It's so soy. It's so cringe. It's so embarrassing. Not just to content creators, but on an individual personal level. Because as I said before in the last situation that this happened with, there is an intent where you have to be willing to deceive the world that it spiritually causes a disruption of your sense of self and being. If you're not physically disgusted by the depths of their actions and how far they were willing to go to hide from the scintillating light of the disinfection of them being seen for who they really are, I don't know what to tell you. But it's good that it happened. And may we never see this happen again, except to the people it deserves to happen to. That's really it, chat. There's really nothing else to be said. And with that, I think that does the coverage for today, unless we have extra things to talk about.
Nope, that'll be it.
Yeah. So, we will see you all again next week. Same Carl time, same Carl channel. And hopefully Baku will be here as well. We can only tell where this man is, as he might be fighting for his life for whatever has kept him away. But we share the love nonetheless. And we send the love to everyone who has heard this here, and to everyone who's done everything possible to make sure the voices and the arguments and the points were heard and were not distracted from, especially in that now recording take. There were so many people who came together to make this outcome possible, and I'm proud of those who did so. Honestly. Any person of any size should be happy to see that at the end of the day, with enough people who understand that fair is fair and foul is foul, even Keemstar can be able to be brought together to say, nuh-uh, we stand for truth and justice around here. Because when the system fails, it's supposed to be on us to be able to police it. And hey, if the trans community won't police Keffels, the internet will. And
justice for Worm.
Hashtag justice for Worm. And maybe, even if he doesn't come back to Twitter, in the future he will continue to make his content, and he will continue to make his art, and he will continue to have his art be enjoyed by all. I mean, hell, I'd love to see a single player Carl edit done in the style of Worm. Wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
My face is great for these features.
Your sweaty ass face and a fucking character like that. With your nappy ass hair.
I'm not even on the screen, and y'all niggas already know what face I'm making. And that's the point.
We know how you look.
But of course, thank you for everybody who came to listen, who came to speak, who came to talk. I appreciate you all. I salute you 07s in the chat. By all means, if you wish to support the show, you can be able to do so by sending donations via Super Chat or to any of the relevant links that you can find them. Specifically, sending them to Twitch TV, Ko-fi, Subscribestar, or youtube.com/SinglePlayerCarl in the form of YouTube memberships, Super Chats, pledges, and or your monthly resub on Twitch. And if you were to do so at the $20 tier and above, you then get special permissions for being a United Negroid Cringe founder. Because a Carl is a terrible thing to waste. And you too can join in the fried chicanery and the absolute Cajun caucasity that we get down to in my Discord server. Where here at Carl and Company, I bring you the cringe and you bring me the entertainment of the day. For any of those interested, the links can be found in the description and comment bars below with the panels. And on YouTube, the links for my co-hosts, as well as the artist credit for the artist that we credit for today's thumbnail, can also be found there and below. I would say please give them some love, as well as giving my co-hosts some love. And without further ado, I do believe that it fulfills the obligations. I'm going to say goodbye, chat. Goodbye. So long to you, my friends.
Do you to you and you. Deuces.
We're so fucking old.
We fucking are.